All right, excellent. Well, welcome in, guys. Welcome into another live session here, G Money Trading Group, and welcome to the well, I guess live trading market recap, right? As we see who has some more opportunities with gold. Believe it or not, I mean, it did move pretty well during the news, but I think it's having an issue trending. Give me a second. Pablo, ¿cómo estamos, Pablo? Buen día, buen día, buen día. También tengo noticias en español y te lo aviso a todos. A ver. Trying to figure this out. Trying to, I want to keep the camera on but not affect the zoom, and I think that's the way to do it. All right, excellent. There it is. Cyrus, how are you, Cyrus? All right, guys. Hey, I am working on some updates on visually on the SMT box, so uh just that's just my version right now. But all right, let's quickly recap where we're at. Okay, as always, right? These calls are for educational purposes only. Any trade idea or speculation is just that. Um, right now we're in this area where if the sellers do not step in, okay, if the sellers do not step in, I think we're going to complete that harmonic pattern that we did for the weekly speculation on Sunday. I believe you guys remember correctly when Marcus and I were in the charts. There it is. We had this harmonic, that's not the harmonic, but excuse me, not the harmonic, the Elliott wave. Okay, the Elliott wave pattern. Go ahead and delete this. We can delete this too. It's well, it's fine. All right, perfect. Okay, so if the sellers do not step in this level that we're in, right? They can come in and take the little high right there and just step in even immediately. But I see that this Elliott movement will be the one to wrap up. Okay. So right now this fib on the right hand side is measuring the 2 level and to the 3. And we retraced, I believe, about 50% of that. Yep, 50%. So if you guys, the LEA wave is something you guys can, definitely Google, research on a regular, website. And it's a strategy, it's a price movement that's been around for decades, right? Maybe even a century. And it has three very basic rules, right? Basically, you look for an impulse, 0 to 1. That's your first impulse, your leg one. From 1 to 2, 2 obviously cannot go below the start. Okay, this is the start here. Already. And then wave 2 to 3 should be the longest. And then wave 4 from 3 to 4, 4 cannot touch the high of wave 1. Okay. So rule number 1 is right here. 2 cannot go lower than the start. Rule number 2 is wave 3, right? Wave 2 to 3 has to be the longest one. And then rule number 3 is that 4 cannot touch the level of 1. Okay. So, and then from here, if at least, right, this does not have to meet the extensions. Just as long as going above 3, that's perfectly fine for an Elliott wave. Okay. It's a little tricky once we go from those last waves. So if the sellers do not step in here, guys, I think this is gonna take us to 40, match the all-time highs at 45, 49 and some change. So let's call it 45.50. Alrighty. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay, it's like that. So we're definitely in that decision zone for us to decide if it really, really wants to trend and complete this pattern. Alrighty. But intraday, right? Intraday, price is definitely trying to make a decision, but everything inside of the S&T, the Asian range and everything is is looking for buys, is looking for buys. So just got to kind of just monitor it a little bit. But yeah, let's go here. Let's go here. Let me just recap this. Hide the drawings. Make less drawings. ABCD wave. What back on the Elliott wave, Miss Iris? Yes. The yeah, what I call an ABC. Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely, it is. Um, it's a trending fashion. That's how the market moves, right? When you want to follow the five waves, yes, the ABC pattern. Okay, so let's kind of regroup here where we're at. Let me go to a forex fact. That's another chart. Clean the house a little bit. And okay, so we're at the highs of Thursday, of Wednesday. Thursday's bullish candlestick is right here. Okay, and we're at the extensions already, right, of there. So I think this just puppy is gonna just ready to go up. Yes. Perfect. So we're at the extensions of here. Let's quickly check how we are with the New York movement up to date. Let's measure the New York impulse. This is previous day. So let me scoot this fib a little bit more to the right. Well, I mean, Miss Cyrus, sorry, what I meant was that is ABCD um, movement, but that's just tracking 4 points. Earlier, what I showed is tracking five waves. Okay, so just to clear that up, that basically means that in your example, yes, wave C is the longest. Okay, just so we can understand it in that direction. Yes, wave C should be the longest, but there's no A, B, C, D, E pattern. Okay, that's good. Guess what I'm trying to say. All right, perfect, guys. So we're right here. We're at the extensions. Price is definitely pumping up to the top side. And turn on this. Here goes the New York impulse, pumping as well. And yeah, it's completing this trajectory, guys. Came back down to 38% is at the extensions, and I think we're gonna go all the way to 44.19. Okay, 44.19. Those I think I just missed the opportunity there. Really take off. All right, if we can get a pullback back, let's say what 44, you guys something like this, we can attempt one more time. Let's see if we can find some ETM patterns in there. And analyze certain things. Let's see. The hour. Perfect. Here it is, guys. Okay. Um, we're already getting 3 consecutive candlesticks once the 9 o'clock hour closes, right? Once the 9 o'clock hour closes, um, we can use that one to look for entry. But if price, um, if it closes like an engulfing candlestick, the third candlestick, we wait for a pullback. But if this candlestick here, if this one right there closes like this, okay, I'm calling this kind of like a continuation candle because in this 1 hour, in the smaller time frame, price did an impulse and then did a correction. right? And technically that's the low, that's the high, and this is the higher low. So when the new candlestick opens, it's ready to go and complete the higher high. Okay, so this is what I see. I treat it first, depending on everything else, as a continuation candle. Okay, we did get a wick rejection from the top, but I consider it more as a continuation. We got to play it more as a continuation candle. Literally, you kind of execute almost immediately, stop loss at the low, and then take it back up, right? And that's kind of the movement that that I'm waiting for. But yeah, so let's see here. But if we have time, it's only 9:30. It's still only 9:30, and what's it called? Once this 2 minute candlestick closes, here we have this nice little three consecutive bullish candles, little fair value gap there. That's our entry. I will put us like at 45.05 or 45.03. Okay, that's what we're looking for entry. Reviewing these 2 3 minute candlesticks. Welcome in, guys. Let me see Andrew. Welcome in, Joe, Victor. Jibo's holding, ¿verdad? Victor, on the 1 minute time frame. Yes, the Jibo, man. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. All the way to TP2. Almost. Sure, guys. The Jibo is basically the SMT box. Okay. If you guys are VIP members, you should have access to the SMT box. If you do not, go to the Trade Circle classroom, and I left some instructions in there on how to request the SMT boxes. Okay. And I can give you access to them. But all the Jibo, all it's doing is reading the boxes for us, and they'll tell you when things realign. So, and it'll give you an entry. Okay. It'll give you an entry. Now, so how do you read those entries? Well, basically it's like the little flag here when the signal comes on. Okay, perfect. We're getting a potential entry here. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. Let's see. You may see the updated Jibo here because it's giving the same signals. No worries. Well, that's why I'm back testing, making sure it gives the same signals. It did it here. We gotta check that out. So we got a signal on the 2 minute. On the 5 minute. Yeah, we need a pullback on the 5 minute. Yeah, okay. So I am liking entries, guys. In between the TP1 and the actual entry line of this 2 minute signal. Okay. Whenever the box is realigned back bullish, okay, there was this is the candlestick that gave the signal, but the entry is not till down here. Okay. So a lot of times price, because it has volume and some momentum, it'll trigger TP1 before. Okay. Before it actually comes to entries. But I would like this for us to come around here, 44.96, just below 4,500. Look for entry to take it back up. So let's find a much better technical entry there. Yeah, around 4,500. I like that. Okay. We'll do that. I'll put an alarm here, guys. I'm putting an alarm here. My first alarm, just as a heads up, at 45:03. Okay, 45:03. And if you guys see any ETM candle in around there, let me know. Okay, guys, perfect. All right, let me hang tight there. So how's everybody doing? We completed our first week of official G Money trading group. Definitely a roller coaster for me, just up and down everywhere else, besides the charts. But I think we're on the right track. Building the consistency of our live trading calls, which is the routine that I like to do with you guys here, right? We'll have our Sunday study group on Sunday with the whoever our VIP members, and we'll start building courses and structuring that way. Normally, right, we would do the class at 8:15 Central for live trading, but I still got one call, Spanish responsibilities, elsewhere, and as long as they're willing to write me a check, I'll do it. However, there's actually a friend of mine who he needs some help in Spanish, right? And he says, hey, he would like to start a Spanish group of members. And I told him I don't have the much time as I would like, because I need to lock in on the English side. He's like, G, don't worry about that, G. I already have like two or three guys that they know the charts already. They've been handling the group for a while for live trading. And they can take care of that. We just want to make sure that we can send them somewhere where it's a safe space, right? That's focusing on trading. And I think he thinks I'm building that. Well, I am building that, right? That's the mission. And yeah, so we're working on that. Entonces, los que hablan español, ¿verdad? A lo mejor abrimos algo en español, um, para, para nosotros. I will do one class there. Like I'll do like one study group in Spanish, right? Like I do the Sundays there. But again, though, right, it won't be something that will affect the English side. And now if you're bilingual, you have options. And if you're not bilingual, no pressure. I'll be doing the English. I'll be doing the English 100%. They will do the Spanish on the day-to-day basis. I will just go, if we open up a Spanish department, I guess you could say, for G Money Trading Group, they will handle all the Spanish day to day. I will go over there one time and just do one study session, but our schedule won't be affected. And again, though, it's like we have the some AI stuff, we have indicators and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, right, the what I see as a the value of trading, right, is just being able to multiply our money, looking at a chart, using the technology that we have in our hands, and entering trades and so forth, right? That's the basic. That's what trading is, and our job is just to teach you guys how to see these charts, kind of get a line in the sense like, okay, where's price going, and how can I make some money in the short movement right here? And I have the tools to give us a 80% accuracy rate on where price is going. From there, right, I think independently, guys, and I stress that a lot, independently, you definitely have to find a way to see that opportunity for yourself because of your schedule, your timing, your trading plan, how much money you want to get here, on a day-to-day basis with the markets. And I think that right there, right, is the biggest reward you guys can give me is that okay, gee, I'm making money. Gee, thank you to the tools or thank you to the analysis or to your chart. I was able to find this move. I was waiting for the buy, but you caught the sell, and because that was the opportunity you saw. That to me just tells me that they were all progressing. And we're all growing, right? We're all growing somewhere or another. Right, perfect. Very good move. I had this move right here kind of marked up. These 2 minute candlesticks, and I just missed it. That was a good one right there to take. Good one to take. Just gotta wait for the next move. All right, guys. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna catch this one. Hitting those TP levels and just being bullish. I will go ahead and review. Give us a quick 15-minute lesson here. We'll wrap up before around 10 o'clock. Just to give you guys a quick lesson on how back testing this New York impulse strategy, guys. And we'll do a short video um on no, I'll go through the tutorials here how to set this up for us, okay? And and you can set mines up like this. But I have a few templates up here, right? The templates, if you're using multiple devices, these come in handy so much because in the past I used to add indicators. I added here. I have I'm an iPhone. I'm an Apple person, and I have an iPhone, a Mac, a MacBook, and an iPad. So things can sync, right? The convenience of it, right, is that you can copy paste from multiple devices. Makes my job easy to copy and paste. But these sessions are very, very important. Oh, thanks, Joe. These sessions are very, very important because whenever you have multiple devices, sometimes the indicators don't sync right away. Well, this way, these templates allow you to save, one or two indicators so that if your other device does not sync yet, you can just simply just click on it and it'll give it to you. So for example, right, this is kind of how I do my top down analysis, finding all this. I always start at the higher time frame candles and the sessions indicator from the 4 hour. And you see here, I put these three indicators up here. All right, when I go down to the New York Impulse, I do that right here, and it adds only two indicators. And then here comes the SMT boxes along with the ETM candles. So it allows me to easily change, right, things. ETM candles with the zones and fair value gaps is all right there. And then a naked chart is, right there. And so, yeah, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to help you quickly set up, right, the New York the NYSE, right? Actually, let me rename this because it needs to be renamed. We're gonna name this. Oops, I can't rename it. Items. Guess I can't rename it. You just rewrite it. We'll do it another time. But anyways, this is the New York Impulse, okay? NYSE, New York Impulse. So here, it's simple. I have two indicators. If you like the fair value gaps, you can add the fair value gaps. If not, add the sessions. Okay, but for sure, add the sessions indicator. And so just go to the indicators and type in sessions, FX market sessions by Boy Toiki. Add his indicator in there. And here, the most important thing we do immediately, right, is visibility. Visibility, we don't want to see it too much in the bigger time frames. I would just say, just take us only to about 30-minute chart. That's fine. And hit OK. Okay. That means that the indicator will not come on anything past the 30-minute time frame. You can do that for all indicators. So that's kind of step number one. Step number two, right, is kind of programming this to the trading range. Right now, it's all programmed to the other mark, but here, right, always this one for this, since we're like in daylight savings, I believe. Um, Use GMT -6. It'll match mine. My advice is make sure your time zone is correct on your end, but you always match mine over here, just so we can always keep this the same, right? History, I do. Let me go to the time frame where this indicator is coming up. Let's go to the 5-minute. Yeah, we missed this move today. History basically tells us how many days do you want of this information. I just need 1 or 2 days. We don't need all of them, so I just put 2 days there. Daily range remains the same. Okay, daily range from 17:15 to 15:15 Central Time. That's why we keep the GMT -6. Keep that identical. Extend yes, no, no, and no. This one you cannot see it in here because I camouflaged it. If I were to turn it on like this, the range will come up right there. But I don't want to see it, right? Because but I hide it because if I don't hide it, it will, yeah, if I do this right here, it takes it off from the information board over there. So I keep it there. Okay. So this one I find the same color as my chart background, and then I go one more step and camouflage it completely so it's gone. Okay. But the information is still up there. Here, I don't use the Asian range here. Here I use what I use. I use the New York Impulse. And then the next one, I use the NYSE opening range, which I'll fix the time. And then here, right, is the entire New York market. Okay, the entire New York market, just so I know how much it's traveled throughout this whole time. Okay, so that's titles. That's how it's set. Okay, titles. That's how it's set. Daily range, New York Impulse, the stock market, and the New York market all together. Now let's kind of go in here with the times. Okay, so the New York Impulse, that one specifically, I want it from 7 in the morning to 8:30 Central Time. Okay, boom. Okay, right there. The New York stock, I just want that first 15 minutes of information. So that's from 8:30 a.m. Central to 8:45. Okay. And then last but not least, the New York market. This one, you want the whole thing. However, this one, I do camouflage it as well, like I did the other one, because it will overlap too much with these two sessions. Okay. So that's how the settings are. I have them, all of them to extend, except the NYSE. Actually, no, I do have this extend. Yeah, all of them are extend. Extend. Yeah. Okay. And then from there, right? How do you want the shape to look? If you want a box, it'll give you a box. Hit OK right quick and hide the drawings. So here it would, yeah, it just depends how you want the box to look. I like the hamburger one. So it can remove that line and it'll keep those lines there. Do you want a flat line, dotted lines, how thick you want your line, the colors? Here, really important right here, the labels. I only have name and pips. This is a very neat feature, but because on my end, the market opens on Sunday, it doesn't give me the days correctly. So I just simply have name and pips checked on. So see the name and the pips moved. Price, it can give you the price levels as well, but more information there. Opening range, I don't use that at all. I don't use this at all either. None of this either. This is what I do use a lot though. Okay, right here. This right here is connected to that. And here I use the last 9 days to give you the average of the last 9 days. Okay, right there. Um, that's this, and then from there, that's what I have. That's the template for that. So once you have that, once you have this, that's where my recommendation goes, right? Go to the indicators, excuse me, go to the indicator templates and save your indicator template to, I already have mine saved, as I told you guys, right? The NYSE trading range. You can put a little emoji there for reference. Let me see, New York Impulse. I'll put New York NYI, New York Impulse. And you can remember the symbol or remember the time frame. I do like to remember the time frame. 2 to 5 minutes is the ideal time for me, and you hit save. Okay. Once you go back up here, open your templates. My templates are here. See, this is the old one that I had, and this is the new one that I just built. You can star them, and then it'll add it up top of there. Okay, but I won't use this one for now. That was just an example. This is the one that I'm using originally. Let me see if it's correct. And yeah, so there it is. This should be, yeah, the history doesn't really matter, but it is there. And there it is, guys. That's exactly how I have my indicator. And so why this is important, guys, because this is what we're going to be doing every time during live trading. We already have the higher time frame weekly and daily candlesticks. We have the SMT box to show us the momentum intraday, right? But consistency is the most important thing when it comes to this with trading, and also for you guys is advancing and learning how to read these charts. Okay, so every day I will be back. I'm gonna back test all 5 weeks, 5 days today: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll wrap it up. But any questions or comments on that, guys? Did that help you guys at least understand how that indicator works? It's a really, really powerful indicator. It's kind of how I've been, managing my markups a lot with that. Let me see. You guys should be able to get access to everything else. Yeah, you can unmute yourselves. Questions, comments, feel free. Yes, Prachi definitely can. Okay. So let's back test, right? Let's back test the all these 5 days. The SMT box, I'm just gonna add it here just for example. The SMT boxes, I'm gonna turn everything off very quick. Actually, no, yeah, I'm gonna turn all the boxes off for now. But the SMT box does have a back test session window. You can turn that on and it'll highlight a range that you want to look for. So let's go back. So just so I can easily find things, let me set mine up to this is all in Eastern time, so I have to go from 8 to 9:30. Yeah, 8 to 9:30 will be the correct time. And then it will already for me locate, the New York Impulse, right? I don't have to look for it. And they're all right there. So let's review the last 5 real quick, okay? Remove the drawings. This is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. So we'll come back over here to Mondays. And we will stop it right at 8:30. Okay. And there it goes. You see, we got the New York Impulse already ready to go. Okay. Remember, the New York Impulse is from 7 in the morning Central Time to 8:30 Central Time. Okay. So what what direction is the New York impulse on this day? What would you guys say? Just on that little impulse right there, bullish or bearish? Let's see what the people say. Prachi says bullish. Miss Iris says bullish. It is. It is bullish. So what do we do here? We get a fib and we measure that bullish impulse. Okay. And I have a template saved for that too. Okay. New York impulse right here. Okay. If you want to copy these settings, all you got to do is just these numbers, just copy them. Okay. You can put them in any order you want. The order does not matter here because they'll automatically know where to go. But I mean, I'm using retracement levels, I'm using top extensions, and I'm using bottom extensions as well. So it's a calculated movement. Okay. So what's supposed to happen here? What's supposed, and I'm gonna hide the fair value gaps come into play because the fair value gaps lets me know that there was buyer strength. And basically these fair value gaps in green are the other indicator that I told you guys I had as well. But I'll turn them off for this example, right? We don't want to go into that much detail right now. But here's what's supposed to happen. Here's how the market should trend every New York session. Okay. So our entry area is between the 38 and 70 and 61.8%. Okay. That's our entry area. All righty. And our take profit one area is at the first extensions up here. All righty. So so price should come here and then push up there. So entry, take profit. However, if price wants to trend using the New York impulse, after it hits the 272 negative 18 extension, the 0 and the 236 become the next area of support, right? So then price should be doing this, and then it will go to the higher extensions to the top side. That's what it's supposed to do. All right. So let's hit play. And what happened actually? Actually, you know what? Let me extend this to 11 o'clock when the London market actually leaves. Just so that'll be 12 for me. And we'll back test this from 7 in the morning till my 7 in the morning to 11 o'clock when this is just the overlap, okay? The overlap. And what happened here? Okay, in this scenario, right? Price just came into 38, 23% and just took off, right? We did get a little, hesitation right at that level, but then it reached the top levels, and then from there it just kind of died off, right? But the direction was bullish. Why? Because the New York impulse was bullish. Okay. Everybody follow along. That's a pretty good example, right? I think it's very good for us to kind of just understand that movement. And it's the same movement, guys, that we do from the weekly candle, the daily candle. Now we're just using it on the New York impulse by itself on those times. Okay. So let's go on to the next day and see kind of what happened there. 10 o'clock. And see these ranges stay like that until the next day. That's why I like using the extended version because they stay there. And again, though, look what happened here. Everything's support and resistance, everything's break and retest. During the London session, price came back and tested the high of that New York impulse, and boom, it shot back up. Okay. All right, what time is it now? 6. It was about to open up. All right, perfect. Let's cheat it here. This was Tuesday, right? I think it's our first live trading session on Tuesday. What's the impulse? Again, it's bullish. The low, you find the lowest point and the highest point between that opening window. You simply measure it with a fib. And let's see how it worked out. It hovered around, it didn't come to 50%. It touched 38%. And then I'm gonna turn off the NYSE range right here because we won't need that one right now, just so it won't get in the way. All right, there it is. Okay, here, right? Okay, we would like to actually get in after 8:30, but if we created the impulse, we can definitely get in slightly before, as long as we have some nice structure, which we did. Okay, impulse measured. Here it actually just missed 50% and reacted from 38, went to the first take profit level, and went all the way to the max area. So again, the price cannot overextend too fast. But in this scenario, right, because everything was so bullish, it actually comes back and touches that 50% line and then continued in the upwards direction. Okay. Now, where do the S&T boxes come in? Well, here's where it comes, how we can use them in our favor. Okay. If the New York impulse is bullish and we also have the S&T legend, bullish as well. I mean, even if we just use the legend by itself, or even just use the big box by itself, that can add another layer of confirmation for us, right? Add another layer of confirmation for us to capitalize on that price movement. All right, so we'll use the S&T box for the next example, because it's not always about going with momentum and structure, but it's just measuring in that direction. Okay. Let's go ahead and erase this. Now these were the simple ones that are there. Sometimes it gets tricky, and I believe Wednesday and Thursday they were both a little tricky. And we'll review them. We'll review those, and then we'll review today's, and then we'll wrap it up. And we'll hide the SMT for now. Actually, no, we'll keep it. We'll keep it already there. All right, perfect. This one was tricky. I'm gonna rewind it right back to 8:30 because that's when that range closes. Okay, and here, okay, what structure do we see in the New York Impulse? Yeah, the New York Impulse is bullish, correct? New York Impulse is bullish, like that. But what does momentum have us? Structure and momentum on the SMT box, right? It has us bearish. Okay, this is where, guys, I believe is like, guess what I'm an expert at is being able to see the market in both directions, or at least give us an opportunity in both directions with the fib. Okay, so if price, and let me put the 23% lines in there. Okay, there they go. Okay, these 23% lines of the SMT box are still very important. Okay, so price likes to go back to equilibrium. Okay, price likes to balance itself out. The SMT box, okay, before I turn that on again, let me just, yeah. Remember, each box has its structure and each box has an equilibrium, the equilibrium being the midline. Price always likes to return back to equilibrium. Alrighty. So in this example, we do have a bullish New York impulse. Okay. And in this scenario, a buy setup, regardless of what structure and momentum say, is still valid. Why is that? Well, because if we enter, give or take, at the 50, 61% level and take it back there, okay, that is a valid setup, right? That's a valid setup because we're using the New York impulse. We bought from there and we took price back to equilibrium. Okay. Now, simultaneously, right, the momentum and structure are strong that this may not hold. So that's kind of where you back test how we're doing now, review, and just kind of Try to see those patterns for yourselves. And that's the reason why I added this 1.272 extension. Okay. Because again, price is making lower lows, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low, and lower high, right? When price, if price takes out this stop loss and falls down, right? Hitting this level of 1272 is technically a lower low. And what happens when price makes a lower low? Well, it pulls back. Okay. So check this out. Let's see what happens. Here he goes. Price comes in right at 50, 61%. Just using the New York impulse strategy by itself, we're in a good scenario. But price said nope. Structure, momentum are stronger. However, the lower low was created. And next thing you know, price reverses back where? Back to equilibrium. Yeah, see that? But we still keep the same fib level intact. Okay, because it's a New York impulse. Let me add in there the 23% lines. If we don't react from the 50% midline, we're going to go to the very near to the top 23% line, which look is at the same levels of the New York max out. Okay, here the price went down and it actually touched the line here. The equilibrium from there dropped down, but there it goes, guys. Okay, that's how that day played out. And let's go back to Thursday. The day. Isn't things so much easier in hindsight, guys? Who's ready to make $1 million next week? All right, lovely. All right. So on yesterday, Thursday, right? I was looking for that sell high scenario based on structure. I think our first level was at 44.40-ish, give or take, which was slightly above the 50% equilibrium. And we also had this what do you call this? 5-minute BEC at there. So I wanted to be with with what I thought was the bigger move yesterday. Okay. Structure was bearish, momentum was also bearish. Give me a pullback around here, or at least there, and then we can come back down. That was the plan, right? But what was the New York impulse plan? Well, the New York impulse was bullish in this example. Okay. The New York impulse was bullish in this example. You measure it. Notice where the 272 is at. Is at the TP line that at the area, excuse me. Yeah, the TP line is at the first sell high area that I wanted, and the TP2 was there. And I think we had news in the horizon and stuff. Let's see. There goes 830. And there it goes. That's what happened. That was the move, guys, that we should have caught yesterday. Obviously, everything back in hindsight, right? But let me put us right at 830. Okay, that line represents 830 time frame. And I think, Project, this is where you're asking your question. Hopefully, we get it answered right here, right? How did price move in relationship to the fib? Okay, how did price move in the relationship to the fib? Boy, it's the same movement a lot of times. We had the impulse. These wicks were around the 61, 78% level, right? Price pumped up, made the high, and then this little price action here basically hovered around the 23%. And then from there, it took off. And it quickly surpassed the 27, the first target, and it stopped right there, which simultaneously, right, it was the negative 78 extension, which that is the sell high area right there, right? That is the sell high area right there. But momentum on the 2 minute. I said it yesterday. I think if we're getting, I prefer to look for signals on a 2 minute and 1 minute time frame when the 5 minute is in alignment. But sometimes that 1 minute and 2 minute they have enough momentum to switch this box as well, and that's exactly what was happening here. Let me rewind one more time. Now using the SMT box. SMT is bearish. Okay, SMT is bearish, but on the 2 minute time frame, it was starting to turn bullish. There it is. And then we got another impulse to the top side. And there it goes again, right? And then from there, structure is bullish. Realignment happened. Let me see if we got any signals on this yesterday. Let me just go back to the original version. And there it goes. It gave us a selling one, but it also gave us a buying one. Let me turn the complex one off for now. And see, it literally gave us a 2 minute signal yesterday from there that hit TP. Okay. But again, this New York impulse strategy, guys, because we're good at using the fib and because we have structure and momentum alongside of us, right? It's just a matter of finding consistency of movement with that fib on the New York impulse and then kind of going back and reading the 2 minute, 5 minute boxes to see where the momentum and the structure are supporting that impulse. And this lesson was for that. So you guys can see that. We back tested for yourself as well, and just see how it behaves. And when we're in live trading, everybody's eyes are almost at the same thing. We can create a good trading plan and good targets for us to capitalize on this. But and today, to wrap it up for today, let's see what happened for today. 8:30 Central, right? Even with NFP news, all these news on the horizon, everything, right? Everything there. All right. 8:30. There goes the New York impulse. You measure it. There goes our areas for us to review. We already got some structure, so it's a little tricky, but let's also turn on the SMT box right quick. Everything's bullish. New York impulse is bullish. Structure is bullish. Momentum's trying to catch up, but everything is bullish. Let's see what happens. And there we are, guys. Like Danimal likes to say, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Retracement back to about 38-50%. What goes up and kind of there. So I think there's an opportunity coming up for us to potentially buy. We're back. We've broken retests the highs of it. Just be mindful, right? We may trend, we may not trend to close the day. We may stay in the range. But I think today's session here was a good back testing one in the New York impulse, which something that I back tested there. Yes, Prachi, today's recording. So all recordings are in the YouTube. And we'll close out with that, guys. Okay, so I think if you go to to YouTube. Oh, what's going on here? Go to YouTube. Let me go to I'm not signed in. Yeah, once you go to YouTube, just search up G-Money Trading. I believe. Search that. That's my videos. Hold on, guys. I don't know how to. Also, you can also go to the link to gmoneytrading-tv and go to playlists and all the ones from last year, 2025. I marked them 2025. I did create 2 folders for this year. 2026 live trading. This will be the one right here. 2026 live trading. And it goes 2026 trade lounge. The study group. This one, because it's our VIP session, you should not you're not going to be able to see this folder. You will be able to see the trade lounge, and you'll be able to see the live trading NYSE. It will be there. This one you can only access it through the VIP recordings classroom that I still need to add in there. Okay. But if you need this link, you can just message me in there from there. But yeah, 2026 live trading NYSE. I believe I added the all right, perfect. So welcome in, guys. The rest of the playlist there. Okay. All right, perfect. So welcome in, guys. Yeah, there it goes. Tuesday, I need to add Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I think I need to add a few more. But okay, we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for a great first week. And any questions or comments, always open to answer those. Appreciate the support, but most importantly, right? My pleasure to serve you guys in your trading journey. Have a good one. We'll see you guys on Sunday for VIP members. Thank you.